the Reserve Bank of India, so which is popularly known as the Bankers Bank and also Central Bank. So this Reserve Bank of India is been established in 1935 April 1st. Self-sufficiency. It is a sufficiency of the nation regarding the stability and the compatibility towards the future things. Small finance bank. So the name itself, it is going to say that it is going to lend the small finance for the underserved category of people. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to one and all. I am Mr. Hemant Kumar from the Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram First Aid College, MYSURU, the Temple of Excellence. In today's session, we are going with the subject called Business Environment, that is for third semester BBA students. In today's session, we are going with Unit 2. It's about the economic environment, that is session 2. This is agenda of today's session. We are going with the banking structure in India, the different kinds of the banking, the distribution of the banking structure in India, the economic planning in India, the meaning of basic terms, that is inflation, gross domestic product, exchange rate, per capita income, and the population growth rate. So these are all the things that we need to go through. Fiscal policy and monetary policy. So these are all the concepts that we are going to cover in today's session. Moving forward, the banking structure in India, or the distribution of the banking structure in India. Firstly, the Reserve Bank of India is known as the Bankers Bank and also Central Bank of India. So when it comes in terms of a Reserve Bank of India, this Reserve Bank of India is been established by Britishers. Okay, so in 1935. Okay, 1st April 1935. At the beginning stage, this Reserve Bank of India was a private entity. Later, it will undertaken by the government. Okay, so when Reserve Bank of India was established by the Britishers, during the rule of Britishers in our country, the first British governor of Reserve Bank of India is Sir Osborne Smith. And later, okay, so after the independence, okay, the Reserve Bank of India get nationalized under the Banking Regulation Act 1949. Means that private entity become public entity. All the shares of the Reserve Bank of India had transferred to the public sector, that is undertaken by the government of India. Okay, so what happened? When the Reserve Bank of India get nationalized under Banking Regulation Act 1949, okay, it become a public sector company. Okay, so this banking company become a public sector, and this Banking Regulation Act 1949 gave the complete authority to Reserve Bank of India as a bankers bank and a central bank. And also, when the India get independence, the first Indian governor of this Reserve Bank of India was Sir C.D. Deshmukh, that is Chidananda Dayasagar Deshmukh. The current governor of Reserve Bank of India is Sanjay Malhotra. Here, when it comes in terms of Reserve Bank of India, under Reserve Bank of India, there are three kinds of bank which will come. So, first one is scheduled bank, non-scheduled bank, and development bank. When it comes in terms of scheduled banks, okay, which is been scheduled under Schedule 2 of Reserve Bank of India Act 1934, that we call it as a scheduled bank. Non-scheduled bank, these are the banking company which has been not scheduled under a Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. And development bank, the main goal of the development bank is the development of the economy of our country. See, when it comes in terms of scheduled bank, it has been classified into 4 categories. So number 1, commercial bank, followed by cooperative bank, payment bank, and small finance bank. The name itself, it is going to say that it is a commercial bank where the main objective or the main motto of the bank is profit making, whether it is a public sector bank or the private sector bank. Okay, so when it comes in terms of public sector bank, whole banking company is being controlled and managed and ruled by the government. We call it as a public sector bank. Private sector bank, all the company which is been owned and ruled by the private sector, we call it as a private sector bank. Foreign bank, or that we call it as the banking company which has been established in our country, that is a foreign banking company, that we call it as a foreign bank. Regional rural bank, so that we call it as a RRB. Okay, these banks are available in the rural area for the development of the rural people. When it comes in terms of a cooperative bank, so these are all the banks which give the contribution for the economic development of our country. So this cooperative bank is being classified into 2 categories, that is urban cooperative bank and state cooperative bank. And again, when it comes in terms of the payment bank, okay, so this payment bank is a special kind of the bank which can only keep the deposit of up to 2 lakh rupees. No credit card facility will be given or provided to its customer. Best example for this payment bank is Paytm and Airtel. Okay, so these are all the banking system, means using that application that we can make a payment, do the deposit. Okay, so payment of the utility bills. So those all things which is going to happen. Okay, small finance bank. So the name itself, it is going to say that it is going to lend the small finance for the underserved category of people. Means there are number of people who will be underserved by this kind of bank. Those people will be underserved by this kind of bank, which is going to provide the small finance for the cottage industry or the small kinds of the business. Again, so non-scheduled bank is been classified into 3 categories. So as per the syllabus, it is not been given. So no need to consider this kind of bank, that is non-scheduled bank. So when it comes in terms of the development bank, okay, so NABARD. So it is been established for the development of the agriculture structure in India. Yes, IDBI Bank. Okay, these banks are the industrial development banks of India. Means this main motto of these kinds of banks is the development of industries. National Housing Board, to provide the housing facility for the people. So IFCI Bank, Exim Bank, Export Import Bank of India. Okay, so and Mudra. So these are all the different kinds of the agencies that is been established to support the development of our economy. Hence, this is the actual system, that is a banking system in our country. Followed by economic planning in India. What exactly the economic planning is? Economic planning refers to the government's strategic efforts to the organize and the develop of the economic over a long period, to the coordinated policies and the resource allocation. See, there are certain policies that has been introduced by the government, that is 5-year plans. Okay, so they are going to plan the future course of action today itself, and they are going to move towards the development. It aims for the efficient use of the resources of the promote economic growth and development. See, it is main objective is to promote the economic growth and development of our nation. It is regarding the 5-year plans, the objectives of the economic policies in India. So what exactly the objective of the economic policies of India? Economic development. So there must be a economic development in our country, means the development of all the economic generation sectors. Okay, the sectors which is going to generate the economy of our country, primary, secondary and tertiary sector. So if we develop those sectors, so the economic problem will be solved, means we can maintain the stability in the economy of our country. Increased levels of the employment. So employment is one of the major issue of our country. So if we increase the level of employment, if we go with the industrialization concept, the development of the economy get happen and the employment problem also get solved. Self-sufficiency. It is a sufficiency of the nation regarding the stability and the compatibility towards the future things. And economic stability. So to be a economically stable country, we are supposed to develop the sectors, as I said, primary, secondary and tertiary sector. Social welfare and the provision of the efficient social services. Okay, so social welfare, the development of the society, the growth of the economy, all the things are going to happen. Employment opportunities. Okay, so inequality among the people. Okay, so there must be there are certain disparities, so we are supposed to solve it. Regional development. So regional development, the majority of the government policies or the things which is going to focus highly on the rural areas, because more than 60% of the population is completely engaged on the agricultural activities. Comprehensive and the sustainable development, but this concept also focus on the sustainable development of the country, means it is only retaining the resource for the future trend and generation. Reduction of the economic inequality. So we are supposed to reduce the economic inequality. So in the previous session, as I disclosed, so what is the distribution of the wealth, so the total distribution of the population. So these are all the things that we need to sort it out. Moving forward, so meaning of various terms. So these terms they may ask you for final exam, that is for 5 marks. So inflation refers to the sustained increase in the general price level of the goods and services. Okay, so it is a general increase in the price level of the goods and services in an economy over a period of time, that we call it as a inflation. Over a period of time means they are going to consider only 1 year. When inflation occurs, the purchasing power of the money decreases, means the value of the money get decreases, meaning you need to more money to buy the same item. Okay, so what happens, we must understand the concept. When inflation occurs, the purchasing power of money decreases. So what happens, the value of the money get decreases. Okay, so we are supposed to pay more money to purchase that particular product. Okay, so meaning where you need to more money to buy the product, we are supposed to afford more money to buy same kind of the product. The price of the product keep increasing just because of this reason. Gross domestic product, that is GDP. GDP is the total money value of the all finished goods and services produced within a country's borders in a specified time or a period, usually a year. Okay, so here GDP will be calculated per annum within one particular period of time, which are all the economic activity which is going to happen, the total number of goods and services that is been manufactured and sold in a particular geographical location, that is one country, in a specified period of time, that is 1 year. It serves as a broad measure of economic activity and health. Exchange rate. Exchange rate defines the value of one currency relative to the another, such as Indian rupee varies the US dollars. See, we are supposed to afford 90 plus rupees for 1 US dollar. So that we call it as the exchange value. We are going to exchange the rupee for US dollar. Exchange rate fluctuate due to the factors like trade balances, inflation, interest rates, and topological stability. So based on these things, the rupees value get changes from time to time. And next one is per capita income. So as I explained in the previous session itself, it is a individual income. Per capita income is a average income earned by each individual in a country. So it is a kind of an average income that has been earned by each and every individual of the country. It included by dividing the country's total income by its population. So what is the total income of a country within that specified period of time divided by the total population? That is, specified period of time is nothing but 1 year divided by total population. It is around 145 to 150 crores of population. It reflects the standard of living and purchasing power of the people. Okay, so it is going to reflect or project the standard of living and the purchasing power parity of the individual people or the inhabitants of our country. And lastly, the population growth rate. So what is the total percentage of the population that is been grown in a particular country or a nation? When it comes in terms of per capita income, okay, so the per capita income of 2025 as per the census is 9,585 rupees. And when it comes in terms of the population growth rate, so we can notice the 20% of growth of population in every decade. Okay, in every 10 years, there is a drastic change in the 20% of the population in our country. That is growth in the population of our country. Population growth rate means the percentage increase in the country's population, that is percentage is 20% over a given period of time. Given a period of time is 1 decade, that is 10 years. In every 10 years, we can notice 20% of growth of population in our country. It affects the size of the labor force and the number of the potential customers. And the last concept, the difference between monetary policy and fiscal policy. What exactly the monetary policy and what exactly the fiscal policy is. So when it comes in terms of the monetary policy, a tool used by the central bank to control the money supply and the interest rate. Means this monetary policy has been formulated and completely managed and controlled by the central bank, that is Reserve Bank of India. When it comes in terms of fiscal policy, the tool used by the government to manage the taxes and the government spending. Okay, that is the expenditure of the government. So here I mean to say, this monetary policy will be completely controlled by the Reserve Bank of India. Fiscal policy will be completely controlled by the government of India. And when it comes in terms of the monetary policy, it has been completely controlled, owned and ruled by Reserve Bank of India, that is Central Bank of India. This is completely been controlled by the Ministry of Finance, that is Government of India. So what monetary policy is going to do? Monetary policy controls the interest rate and money supply. Okay, so because Reserve Bank of India is the only authority which used to control the money interest rate, money supply and interest rate based on the forex value. Controls the government spending and taxation. So here we see Nirmala Sitharaman, she is going to amend the tax rates or the tax slabs every year. Okay, so that is what it is going to say. It's about the fiscal policy because she belongs to the Ministry of Finance of our nation. Okay, so government spending, it is regarding the expenditure of the government and also the income to the government through the tax. Keeps the economy stable, means it work to keep the economy stable by maintaining the rupees value and by engaging the interest rate. And when it comes in terms of fiscal policy, helps the economy grow, means firstly we have to be stable and later we can grow, we can have a growth in the economy. When it comes in terms of monetary policy, affects exchange rate. Higher interest rate can make the currency stronger. Okay, so what happens if there is a higher interest rate? So there is a stability in the economy. Okay, so it totally depends upon the economic activity also. So it will be completely managed and decided by Reserve Bank of India. Does not directly affect the exchange rate. So there is no relationship between the exchange rate and fiscal policy. When it comes in terms of monetary policy, targets the inflation. Okay, so here monetary policy's main target is inflation, tries to keep price stable. Okay, so it make its efforts to maintain the stability in the rupees value or the price value. Okay, because it focus on the inflation. So no fixed target. So here, as there is a target of inflation, so there is no target when it comes in terms of fiscal policy, but aims at the development and reducing the unemployment. So it is going to reduce the unemployment rate in our country. So affects how people and the business borrow, spend. Okay, so it is going to keep the account how the people are going to borrow the loan and how it is going to affect the economy and what is the spending pattern of the people. Affect the government budget and how much it is earn and spends. So what is the total government earning, what is the income to the government through the tax, and what is the spending of the government to the development of the country or the economy. They provide the pensions to the employment. See, there are a number of the facilities that has been facilitated by the government to the inhabitants. One of them is pension. No pension scheme for the employees under this. So no pension scheme will be provided under the fiscal policy, but under monetary policy they are going to give the pension facility for the people. Moving forward, in the next session we are going with the module 3, that is political environment and legal environment. Thank you.